Hello, sports fans, and welcome to Bracket Dome 2016. My name is Joe Barbito. I'm joined alongside Owen Pence, Neil McCarthy, and James Duffy. We all made brackets for March Madness this year. We're going to get underway with a little game, and we like to call it 4 Dudes Eating Spicy Foods.
All right, so the basic idea of how this works is we're 4 dudes, and the more picks we lose, we eat more spicy foods. Neil?
So the top person, if they get a complete perfect Sweet 16, will eat no peppers. However, if they miss even one team, they will eat 1 jalapeno pepper. The person who does the second best will eat 2 jalapeno peppers, followed by 4, and then 8.
But the catch is, if you lose all of your final 4 teams in the opening weekend of the tournament, you eat all the peppers for your punishment and a ghost pepper added onto that.
God.
Nice spicy punishment for not knowing anything about college basketball. So this week's episode is focusing on the first 2 rounds, the round of 64 and the round of 32. We'll be doing a weekly episode where we can follow the past 2 rounds and what actually happened and what our brackets look like. So we're going to start off, a lot of teams playing, a lot of games happening. Guys, what are some upsets you got?
Well, I have in the first round, I have a 14 seed and an 11 seed advancing to match up. I have Gonzaga beating Seton Hall, and I have Fresno State beating Utah.
I have the Gonzaga pick as well, but I have Utah over Fresno State and then Utah over Gonzaga.
And I like the South Dakota Jackrabbits to beat the Maryland Terrapins. A lot of deliberation here in the room about the mascots and who would win in a mascot matchup. But in the real basketball matchup, Jackrabbits are the winners.
You go with the basketball matchup, but in the classic story, the tortoise beat the hare, the terrapin's going to beat the jackrabbit here. Also some matchups that you might be thinking the other way on. I picked USC over Providence. It seems to be a lot of people are very high on Providence, but really, Trojan versus a Friar, the one guy's got like maybe a cross, the other one's got a sword. You can't win in that matchup.
All right, well,
Friar.
in real life, the Friars, Providence, has one of the best players in the nation, Chris Dunn. He's going to take over that game. Ben Bentil's also great. I don't think there's a way Providence loses in the first round. I think they can give UNC a tough test in the second round, honestly.
Does anybody not have UNC going to the Sweet 16, though?
I do not. Oh, no, I do have them.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think we can all agree on that. UNC
yeah.
is at least going to make it to the Sweet 16.
I
have them in my
I think
Final
Providence is
Four,
going to test them, but I think UNC is too good to lose that early on.
If I told you I picked USC to beat them because Trojan versus a Tar Heel, I mean, come on, guys.
All right,
it's
mascots
just enjoy your peppers.
So do we want to go through our Final 4 picks real quick?
I suppose we can.
Since if we mess all those up, we're beating the deadly ghost pepper. So why don't start this way?
No, we can start over there.
Okay.
All right, so I have Arizona, Duke, UNC, and Michigan State as my Final 4. Then I have Michigan State winning it against Arizona for the championship.
I need the rationale behind the Arizona pick.
You need the rationale?
I need the rationale.
All right, so I pretty much go pick by pick for this one. So they're playing Wichita in the first round. I don't believe the hype. Shockers, they're not going to shock the world this year. Then Miami. Miami, really overrated 3 seed. Probably should have been a 4 or a 5. Arizona beats them. Then I have them playing Nova. And you can't pick a Big East.
So you're going the competition.
I'm going, I don't think they necessarily are the second best team in the tournament. I think who they're going to play, they're going to beat. That's how I get to that point.
That's fair.
So I have a very similar Final 4. I have Arizona, Oklahoma, and UNC, Michigan State, and then Michigan State over Oklahoma in the final. My rationale for Arizona, however, is very different in that when I originally created my bracket, I had all like 1s through 4s up the top, and I was like, I'll pick a 6 to just come in, and I picked Arizona. I really have not been following a lot this year, so this sounds like it's much more thought out this year. Yes, exactly. Or any year for that matter. I'm going to eat a lot of peppers.
I'd like to hear your analysis of the Wildcats like 2-3 zone defensively.
Yeah, let me do that for you real quick. After this,
yeah,
they have a little bit more zone than the 1-2 zone run by other teams.
Right, exactly.
So the 2-3, it's definitely
They have 5 people in the zone, not 3.
Not even 3. I mean, that's a lot of zone
That's
coverage.
a lot of people.
I know some of these words.
Coverage and people.
All right, I have Kansas in the Final 4, and I have them winning it all. I like Oklahoma to come out of the West region. That's kind of like the popular pick, but I just think that's a weak region. I have Virginia in the Midwest. I think that's the most undervalued 1 seed. I think they're really good. Everyone's picking Michigan State, but Malcolm Brogdon will lock down Denzel Valentine. And then I have Kentucky coming from the East and actually making it to the final. They're hitting their stride right at the right time, kind of like what happened 2 years ago. I think they do almost better when they're a lower seed. And Jamal Murray, Tyler Ulis.
Tyler Murray and Jamal Ewis, love them.
I mean, 2 years ago they had one of the best teams just like ever, really. If you look at like all the players they had, they all went to the NBA, and then now it's just kind of like they're
I disagree. I mean, the team that was an 8 seed and went all the way to the finals featured the Harrisons in the backcourt, and they were pretty bad.
They don't
And
call it
I
March
will-
Madness without a reason.
That was beautiful, Joe.
It's
We
true.
get your final four.
What's
now.
Speaking
what's
of
the
madness,
mascot Final Four
All
looking
right,
like
so
over here?
I understand the value in actually watching basketball games and making picks based off of how teams are going to play, but what's the fun in that? My current Final Four, as it stands before I likely go home and wimp away from this one because my picks are ridiculous. I have Miami taking the South because a hurricane is a literal force of nature, and how can anyone stop that? Especially a Jayhawk, that's a bird. It's going to get caught up in the little cyclone thing and just go flying off. Coming out of the West, I have the Duke Blue Devils. Because a Blue Devil, I mean, it's got like a stick, okay? It's got like a little trident fork. I mean, it's a devil. It's got like supernatural powers or something. Out of the Midwest, I have the Iowa State Cyclones. Much similar to the Miami pick. I don't know why you guys are laughing. Cyclones are a real problem in I think, the Midwest. And then coming
That's
out,
why I'm laughing.
then coming out of the East, I have USC, which by the way is in California, which is not the East. I would just like to make that clear.
Joe's a huge fan of church and condoms. It's really entire.
Got him.
Yeah.
So,
Safe sex
unfortunately, these, as of the filming of this, these are not locked in because it is currently Wednesday night as we're filming this, and the lock-in doesn't come until, I believe, noon tomorrow.
Although I'm thinking of holding at least one of those.
So
just for the sake
he's going
of
to go
the
change
match.
all of those so that he doesn't have to eat any ghost peppers.
And in
Otherwise,
case
he
anyone would like to know,
definitely
I
would.
picked Miami, Iowa State for the final because two forces of nature going together would be an absolutely fantastic battle. And Miami coming out on top just because I kind of like Miami. I think I like
I feel like
really
So you-
really
so you
whipped out in the
Miami.
end
the
there.
green and orange. I
You
think
really
it's pretty
whipped
cool.
out in the end there.
Well, hurricane. Okay, if we're gonna go mascots, then a hurricane is larger than a cyclone.
Yeah, with Cyclones, there's a lot more of them.
I mean, I don't know. Well, here's the thing: if you're doing 5 guys on the court at the same time for both teams, you got 5
Balti.
hurricanes versus 5 cyclones.
Balti.
Emil looks horrified by how this is going. This is going off.
I'm looking over. Duffy and I have really similar
I think a cyclone
brackets.
is a hurricane.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's a couple of
Other
weird
than-
ones
I
here,
have, I
but
have Baylor going down in the first round. I'm talking about upsets. I have
Ooh.
Yale beating them.
See, I like
wow,
Baylor.
okay.
Yeah, in the Sweet 16 there.
What's a matchup you guys are excited
I
to
have
see?
Baylor
Maybe
in
not,
my
just-
Sweet
not
16,
necessarily an upset, but a game you're looking forward to.
I think the USC Providence game is going to be really good because I think Providence is one of the teams that can really beat anybody in the nation or lose to anybody. So you can see either side of that coin. I think on the same note, Notre Dame playing Michigan too. Either way, they can beat anybody or lose to anybody. So those two games in the East over there could be good.
I like Iowa State playing Iona in the Midwest. Speaking of your Cyclones, I've been an Iowa State fan for the last couple of years when they had Fred Hoiberg as coach, and I've gotten burned quite badly, and so I'm not going to have that happen to me again. And in addition, Iona is kind of a sneaky low-seeded team. They have a couple good guards.
personally, I love watching the 8-9 matchups because you just never know what's going to happen there. They're generally, decent teams. I think the Colorado-UConn game is going to be especially fun to watch. I think that'll be a good matchup. I have UConn coming out of that one as the 9 upset, which isn't even really an upset necessarily, but.
Might as well call them both the 8.5 seed at that point. Am I right, Neil?
I think UConn is a sneaky team. Coming out of their other tournament, winning it. Got some good guards there, right? They, Kemba Walker, Shabazz Napier. This could be part 3 with Jalen Adams leading the charge this time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well,
Do we-
gentlemen,
That one's swimming.
wonderful time in the bracket dome today with all of you. Any final comments that you have? Any final thoughts you've got on bracketology, choosing your teams, or how much you don't want to eat jalapeno peppers?
I'm just really glad that you're here, Joe, so I know that I won't eat 8 peppers.
Accurate. It's true. I mean, this was fun to talk about this week. I think next week we're gonna have much less fun as we're all eating spicy
Well, one of
foods,
us might have
but,
fun, but
One of us might have fun if we call a Sweet 16 correct. So what do we get any kind of crazy prize if we like get the perfect bracket? I mean, obviously there is the crazy prize.
well, it's the lack of
Likely
pain.
the government
The lack
coming
of
after
pain.
you for some
Yeah, probably.
the perfect bracket, wanting to know
Briberies and stuff.
what kind of technology you use to do the impossible.
All right.
All right, well, I guess that'll wrap it up for us here in the bracket dome. We will see you all next week.
Should we do some pretend the credits are rolling? Or...
Casual conversation.